Okay, I'm gonna go over the numbering system of a log cabin. So every row of logs has a number assigned to it, and it's pretty straightforward. You have the first course of logs is row 1, the second course is row 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. So it's very simple there. The sequence of each course is basically starts with A. So your first log is A, second log is B, C, D, E, F, G. Every log has a unique mark on it. 1A is going to be your first log, 1B, second log, 1C, third log. Once you get to row 2, we're going to have 2A, 2B, 2C. So it's really important to find the correct location for the first log, which is 1A. And usually the floor plans should specify that location. It's usually by the front door, on one side or the other of the front door. And like I said, it'll usually specify there should be an A on the plan where that log is. We're gonna go look at these logs out here and find that first row, and I'll show you how to easily tell just by looking at the actual logs themselves. You can easily tell where that first log is. So when we mark these logs, when these homes are pre-assembled, all the markings are done from the inside of the house. So here we can see this log is 1A, and it's always marked from the inside. So from where I'm standing right now, this is looking out. So I'm inside the house right now. So on the wall, this will be oriented. This is the outside, this is the inside. So you can see here we have a corner notch. This end is just cut off flush. This is the door, and that's the corner, obviously. So we know, based on the way this is oriented, that on the house, this is going to be on the left side of the door if you're standing inside. And we'll demonstrate that. So we'll actually pick this log up, we'll carry it over there, and I'll show you how it's oriented. So let me pick it up. This one's pretty light. So I'm going to bring it up here onto the floor, and you can see that this log, 1A, we've got the door cut here and the notch on this side. If I were to put this log on that side, then this number would be backwards. So it's very simple. It's always read from the inside of the house. This is A, that will be B, C, D, all the way around, and end with whatever the last log is will tie into this A log. It's the first log, and so we're going to get this first row set up. And this is the most important row, is row 1. Once it's set and leveled up, lined up, then it'll be just an easy, just a progression of rows after that. We're going to demonstrate using this lift here to set logs. It's totally doable. You know, a loader like this or an excavator works well. We have a crane, so we're going to use it, but don't be intimidated by that, because you can totally do this with a loader. You know, by hand, if you have a couple guys, you can lift these logs in place. As you can see, it's pretty, you know, you can just maneuver around with a loader. As long as you have an extended boom lift like this, or an excavator that can reach high enough. So we're going to set some of this first row with this lift just to kind of demonstrate that it's completely doable with this, and then we'll use the crane to finish it out just because we have it, and it'll go much quicker. A crane is recommended. It's a little more expensive, but you can get a crane operator and a crane for $150 an hour, and you know, a smaller cabin like this shouldn't take more than, you know, if you have enough people, you can usually do it in a day, but maybe a day or 2 days, depending on, you know, the speed and everything. So, but you can also rent a loader, or if you have one, or a buddy that has one, then you can totally make it work and get it done. Hopefully we can reach far enough. Might have to put them at the end of the forks. Set it down just like right here. Okay, tilt down. Go in. Okay. Okay, now we can go, you're right against it, so you gotta back up. We'll grab that end. We can always slide it if we need to. That's fine. Okay, now we'll just pick it up and we'll slide it by hand from here. Actually, let's pick it up.
I see you want to just use one foot. So
Yeah. We'll do this. Right there. Okay, so there's that. You see there's an intersection here. This is the corner, obviously, this is the corner of the floor. So this outside edge here. Since this floor is actually 2 inches bigger, we're gonna keep this line in 1 inch on every side to compensate for that, for the floor being a little bit bigger. I'll show you how to do that here. We're gonna get this log lined up in place where it goes right now, and screw that down. So it works the best to start with a long wall that's straight. This log is full length. So we're gonna get this log set in place, then we're gonna screw it down. Then we can get the rest of the cabin square based off of this this first log. So this is where you're gonna need a big square like this. We're gonna come over to this side first. We're gonna get it lined up end for end this way first, and then we'll line it up side to side. So if I take this square laid on top here, there's a chalk line running this way and a chalk line running this way. And so we want to basically, this chalk line needs to be lined up in relation to this floor, the edge of the floor here, which in this case we want this line to be 1 inch in from the outside edge of this log, or sorry, of this wall, because of that 2 inch offset. If this floor was exactly 16 foot by 20 foot, we would make this line right on top of, right level with this wall. What I'm gonna do here is pick a number. Doesn't really matter what number. So I'm gonna put the line on 10 inches right there. Then I'm going to take my tape, go underneath the log over here, and butt it against the floor here, so right against the flashing. And I want this log to be 1 inch in from that from this line. So if the edge of this square were right on 10 inches, that would be right on. But I want this log to be in 1 inch. So it's actually right on right now. I'm right at 9 inches. I'm a 16th off, which is fine. So I didn't even move it or try. So that's exactly 1 inch offset. Let's go to the other side and check that side. If this side should also be right about 1 inch or close. This floor might be a little bit, might not be exactly 2 inches that we're off. So here, right there, 10. See that? 9 inches as well. So we're 1 inch in here, 1 inch in over there. So this log is actually perfectly lined up endways right now. This isn't like, there's enough tolerance in this particular process here. You can be off 1 inch and it's fine. But yeah, we're right on here. So that's good for this way. Now we're gonna line this up side to side. We're gonna do the exact same thing, but we're gonna turn our square this way. You want to make sure that you're not rocking on anything on top here. Nice and flat like this. This log is a little bit twisted. There's a little twist in this log, which is normal for logs like this. You might have some twisting, but totally fine. This time we're going to put it on 4 inches right here on the line. So 4 inches right there. We'll measure in. Since we're trying to be 1 inch in from the edge of this floor, we want this measurement to be 3 inches. I think, yeah. So there we're at just 2 3/4, and so if I move this out a little bit, we should be right at 3 inches right there. That's pretty much good. Let's go to this other end, do the same thing. 4 inches right there. This side is way in. We're going to pull it out. So there's 4, and there's 3. So sometimes this flashing can kind of stick out, so make sure we're all the way against. Yeah, 3 inches. So this log right here is set in place. We'll check the other side just to make sure it didn't move just now. So we'll go 4 inches, and oh, it did move. So when I move this out, this end pivoted in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put, since that end is right on, we're going to put a screw in that corner to hold it in place while I move this side. So this is where our 10-inch screws come into place, or come into play. These are a 10-inch log screws. So I'm gonna put a screw in, and now I've got my 2 lines, this is the corner of our floor. So I'm gonna put the screw just right inside of that. Now you also want to be aware of what you're screwing into. In this case, we have a whole wide, wall to screw into. If you are building this on like a subfloor, where you might just have a narrow rim board, then you got to be really careful where you put your screw so you hit that rim. So just be aware of that. But so I've got one end in place here. Now the other end, I'll move it out where it needs to be, and it won't pivot on me. So I'll go over here. Right there, 3 inches. So that log is in place. Okay. Now this log. Oh, sorry, hang on guys. So you gotta spin it, it's backwards. So you can see here that letter is backwards. So these notches just butt together. You've got a V notch here and a V notch here. This way, this way. So you can see here that it's not too bad to do this with a loader like this, or a lift of some kind. So the first step in getting the cabin squared up is what we just did, which is get this log lined up in place and screwed down. And then the next step is going to be, after the rest of the logs are set up, the rest of row 1 is set, we can then adjust it to make sure that it's square. We've got our A, B, C, and D logs set right now. We're putting the last log on here on row 1, that's C. We've got 1A, 1B, 1C, D, and 1E. Sorry, not C, that's E. So they're gonna put that last log on, and then we'll get the corners screwed together next, and then we'll get the whole cabin square. So let's start with this corner here. We'll screw this corner and that corner together. We'll show you that process next, and then from there we can adjust that side to get the whole cabin square. This log is kind of small, so our glue, we missed the glue there, so we're going to pick this end up and add some more glue right here. So put it a little further in here. It's right on the very edge. Okay, this is a little smaller drill, works good for this. So this one's a little big. Of course it works. This is a good size drill for doing these corners. So for corners, we have 6-inch screws here. You should usually have a kind of a little pilot hole one side of these the corner notch, and should be able to just use those for the most part. If this log is screwed down, then we could just screw it straight in here. Sometimes if your logs are different, or sometimes if your logs are not all secured, if you're screwing from this way, from this log into this log can pick up. So screwing is kind of it takes some finessing to get them to become tight. So like just now when I tightened this up, this side became gapped, So what I want to do is actually pull this screw back out. Be really careful with these screws, they're prone to stripping. So I'm going to come into this side first, and a little bit of an angle. And I'll put one on this side as well at the same time. Now I'll do one from this side just to try to tighten that up a little bit more. Come out here. That's pretty good. And sometimes it's hard to get these to become totally tight. They're hand cut with chainsaws, and then your wood sometimes can move a little bit. So you end up with a little bit of that. It's okay. I try to make the inside tight. If you look in here, you can see the inside is completely tight. That's kind of the goal. Try to favor the inside, just because it's more visible and everything. So this side, pull this in, and we'll do the same thing here. So there we go. See, it's nice and tight, so that one's good. Now we'll do the other two. I want to make sure that we're pretty close. I can see right now that this needs to come this way. So we'll pull it a little bit. That'll be pretty close. So I can eyeball that red line down to the floor and see right now it's pretty close, about an inch in. So we'll check it, of course, then before we finish up, but just want to get close to screw these corners together. So here you can see this corner is a little bit, it's kind of got some wonky looking stuff going on here. You can easily tighten it up. Now in this case, if I have this screw angling down, what tends to happen is this log might raise up. I'll show you what it looks like here. That wasn't too bad. It actually just kind of rolled. That's actually fine. Worked out good. If you keep your screw pretty horizontal as far as flat going in, if you have it like this going down, then this log will just pick up. And so keeping that as flat as you can like this is key. So there you can see we're tight on the top and tight, both sides are tight. So that's perfectly what we want right there. Okay, after I've got all four corners screwed down, we've got the first log actually secured in place right there. So the next step is to get this doorway spread the right way. So if you look right here on the end of this door, there's going to be a blue mark with an X. It says 36 inches right there. It's upside down, but basically that measurement is that's where your tape goes against right there. That's the measurement from X to X. On this side there's an X as well. So a blue X and a blue X. Butt my tape right there, and then there should be 36 inches to this X over here. So we're at 36 1/4. So I'm going to move this a little bit right here. I just jolted it over. So right there, you can see we're right on 36 inches, which is perfect. The next step is to get the corner-to-corner measurements right. So basically, in order for this cabin to be square, we need the corner, which is this intersecting of the red lines right here. So that point right there, each corner has a point like that. We're going to get a diagonal measurement across, and get the goal is to get those two measurements to be exactly the same, or very close. There's tolerance. You've got a ½ inch of tolerance either way, but we're going to get it close. So we're going to measure diagonally from this corner to that corner, then we'll measure from that corner to this corner. So we'll start right here. This side is 306 3/4, so that side is 308. So we need to move this corner, or this, we need to move this wall this way, so this measurement here gets longer, and that measurement gets shorter. So let's pull the wall this way a little bit now. Shoot, it's probably too much. I'll see. It might not be too much. Let's try it. We have 307 here. Let's check this side. and we have 307 and a quarter, or 3/8 right here. That's much closer. We're going to move it a little bit more till we're at probably about 307 and an eighth will be our final measurement. It works pretty good if you have a hammer with a sharp claw. You can do that, and this side has been screwed down. We've adjusted that side. So right here we're at 307 and an eighth right here, and then we'll go the other way. Also need to make sure that this door stays on as we move things around. And then here we're at 307 and 1/8 over here. So both of our corners are the same. Corner to corner measurements are the same both ways, which is what we want. And then our doorway measurement is also right on. Actually, it's about a 1/4 inch off, but we'll adjust that. You just want to make sure that before you screw anything down, you want to make sure that all your measurements are right at the same time, without moving things in between. So we'll pull this side in a little bit here. Which puts us right at 36 right there. And then we're at 307 and 307. So the last step is to get this wall that has a doorway in it. We're going to straighten this out. So that's where we take a string line, and we'll just hold it on the chalk line there. We'll stretch it across here, and then we can see here when I have it on this side right here, we've got right there. This side's on, and if you look over here, that log is out a little bit there. So we'll move that in. So I'll push it over. Should be able to just push it over like that. And then the same with this other one over here. We'll make sure that it's straight. Sometimes it can, if the corners are screwed together, it can, so we'll put it right there and we'll screw it down in place. So now that we've got everything in place here, I'm going to go ahead and screw this whole row off. One of the most important things is all of your doorways and windows, which are later on. It's very, very important to stay 12 inches back from the actual edge of that opening. So you want to keep your screws back a good 12 inches or more if you can, just because later when we go to cut these out with a chainsaw to their final dimension, it's just it's very easy to hit screws that are too close, and it's very frustrating when you're cutting windows out and you hit metal with your chainsaw. So just keep that in mind. We want to stay back. So I'll probably come back all the way back to here for my first screw. I have a screw in here, but that's fine. I'll just put one here as well. And then we want to go about every 3 foot with screws. So like in this log here, I probably want to have at least 3 screws in it. I've got 2 here. I'll probably do 1 more here. And 1 over here. Then we have 1 in this corner already. You want to make sure to stay on the inside of this red line, because this is the edge of our foundation. So if we put a screw out here, we'll more than likely miss the floor. Just approximately every 3 foot is what we're shooting for here. The whole row is screwed off with our 10-inch screws. So the next step is going to be punching through all of our electrical chases. So you can see here, if you look around the wall, you'll see a bunch of these holes. They're 1.5 inch holes that are drilled through the log. And we need to drill through this and actually drill through this top plate into the cavity below here. So you need a pretty good sized drill for this, or if you have a low setting on a drill. So this is an 1.5 inch bit. This is one of the kind of a heavy duty, just a ship auger bit. Works pretty good. Screw these down and make sure that they come through the bottom. Make sure to clean it out real good, so that there's no chips or splinters in that hole. So if you can see, it's nice and clear all the way through. make sure you get every single one of them, because if you forget this step, it could be a big pain to run your wires. So I want a good heavy duty bit, because a lot of times you're drilling through metal flashing. So one of these just work really well for that. This one here ended up right on top of the stud here. I think I'm hitting a screw, so I'm going to try to divert the hole a little bit, drill it at an angle, and get past it. There we go.